everybody, it's me, Amy Ledgister of 3D Lash and Brow and Aspire with Amy, and I'm super excited to be back with you guys today. Many of you have reached out to me about how to open up your own school. Some of you guys have even gone through my program where I have a 6-week program where I teach you exactly how to start your school and get it approved. Shout out to all my mentees. And now I wanted to talk to you guys today about what you do once your school is approved, like what's next. Because truthfully, getting the school approved and opened is actually on the easier side of things, which is kind of scary. So once you're approved, it's not like they give you a handbook and say, okay, this is how you run your school. And that's why I always stress the importance of having a mentor. You can reach out to me if you'd like, or just find some help, because running a school can be very challenging. But one of the first things I want to talk about to do once you have your school is to develop your team. Now, with that being said, I want you to keep an open mind that the team that you start with may not be with you later on. For a lot of people, when we go into business as an employer, we think, okay, I'm going to have the best team, I'm going to be the best boss. And sometimes it doesn't always end up that way for various reasons. Many people use the analogy of having a basketball team when it comes to being an employer, that you may not have that same starting five all the time. You may trade some people out. You may, win the championship with some teams and not get even close with some. So just know that there's always changing, always replacing. And it's kind of hard in the beginning because you think, okay, I really like Sally Joe. And then you may have to let Sally Joe go for some reason, or Sally Joe was amazing, but her mom got sick and so she had to move away. And sometimes as a school owner, that can really affect you, because many times students get really attached to an instructor or an admin person. And when they see that that person is gone, it kind of puts them in I wouldn't say a bad mood, but it does hurt their heart just a little bit. And so they may take it personally. They may think, okay, well, you're the school owner. Why are you losing people, or why are you getting rid of people? Even though they don't know always the backstory. Same thing too, as a school owner, when you bring people into your business, there might be someone who is not always for you. And I have a little story to say. When I first started my school, the lady who was actually my lash teacher, I was like, hey, I'm going to be starting my own lash school. I would love for you to come join me. I didn't think anything of it other than that she would be supportive. And the day of where I needed to have my inspection, she knew that I needed to have her instructor's license, because in order to get approved, you have to have an instructor already hired on. And why did she say she did not have her instructor's license? She was like, oh, I can't find it. Now, this person is the most organized person in the whole world. If y'all probably know who she is, but this person is the most organized person I've ever met. She probably has a Rolodex of her credit cards. She probably even has them memorized. So I'm thinking, so why are you always lying? But I went ahead and still, praise God, still got approved, but it was last minute that she did that. And I was really naive back then. I didn't think, okay, why would this person do that to me? I was okay, let me give her the benefit of the doubt. And maybe she really could not find her instructor's license that she uses on a daily in order for her to legally be able to teach. Okay, so she never called to say, hey, how did your inspection go? Did you get approved? And again, I just went and rolled with it. But later on, this same employee turned out to be kind of cancerous to my organization. Maybe there was jealousy because at one point she was my teacher and now maybe I surpassed her, but I didn't realize all these things. So just keep in mind that some people maybe who come into your organization, they may be wanting to support you, but you have to have that discernment early on. If your spider senses tingle, just believe yourself. Don't say, well, this person wouldn't do that to me. Yes, they will. They will do it, and with a smile, okay? So remember that the starting team. Another example is one of my other first employees that I had, amazing instructor, really good with the students, became super close with the students, but that person started to turn the students against me, which was really weird. I was like, what is going on? This person ended up getting promoted because I couldn't see what was going on the backside. They became the director, and eventually they stopped wanting to listen to me, the owner. They wanted to kind of do their own thing, even though it's not their business. This person even said, I built 3D, and I was very shocked. when I had this happen to me, because again, I thought I was the best boss. So even if you feel like you are the best boss in the world, that you're paying attention to your employees, or that you're, taking them doing staff lunch, staff development, do not take it personal if people perhaps leave your company or organization, maybe badmouth you. Just let it go, okay? Because at the end of the day, what's for you is for you. God will not bring this business to you only for it to not succeed or for you not to learn something from it, okay? So again, I say that to say, do not worry if the people that you started with are not the people that you ended with. And for that person who said they built 3D, guess what, girl? I'm still here 5 years later, 2 schools later, okay? So let your haters know that you will keep on going even if they don't support you. So always be hiring as far as like looking for recruiting, looking for talented people. When you go to a restaurant and you see an amazing, waitress who's giving you excellent customer service, always be recruiting. Like say, hey, what are you doing? I have a company. Poach these people. Say, hey, I would love for you to interview anytime you see something extraordinary. So kind of always be recruiting. Always, just know that maybe this person may not always be with you. Now, I will say that within this 5 years that I have had some people be with me for, almost 3 years or more, and they are a dime a dozen. So I'm very blessed to have the people that have stood by me through all the seasons, but just know that that's not always the norm, okay? Another thing to kind of think about once your school has started, other than developing a really good team, is creating your standards of operation, okay, your SOPs, okay? You really want to have your systems in place so that way you know exactly how things should run, even if you're not there. And that is by creating an employee manual, a handbook, also creating standards for the school, how the students should run, all of that. So that way you can give this very easily to a manager or a director. So that way you are maybe kind of starting to pull yourself out of it a little bit. Because when you first start a school, you are just in there. I mean, you are grinding, you're trying your best to just make sure everything's floating well, your head above water. So it can be a little bit overwhelming. But once you create those systems and policies and procedures, you are able to step back just a little bit to let things run how they are supposed to run. And even though you may have systems in place, you have to be a little bit flexible because things do change. So I'm in the state of Texas and our state board is called TDLR. And let me tell you, they change things all the time. Like 1 year they'll say you can have 100%, distance learning, then they'll take it away to 25%, then they'll bring it back up to 50%. So not only have they made changes in how we can educate our students, but then they also took away the instructor's license. So now anybody can teach. So there's constant changes. So you have to make sure you're flexible with the changes, but that you're also knowledgeable about the changes. So you can really get in trouble if you are not staying up with the meetings. So make sure you subscribe to your state board's meetings. They usually have a meeting every month or every quarter. They have YouTubes nowadays. So be active in these groups because it's very easy to have a law passed or changed and you had no idea that it was happening. You're just like, one day you get inspected and they're like, well, we changed this, last year. You can no longer, offer this program or you no longer. So if you are not on it, and it's hard to be on it because you're trying to, manage employees, you're trying to manage students, all of this, but it will be a benefit to you as a school owner if you stay in the loop. Even if it's the most boring meeting you've ever been to in your life, you still go to it, still take notes, review those notes so that way you can educate your team and make sure that everything is running as smoothly as possible. Okay. Another thing when you start your school is to create community amongst the students. So our longest program is 1,000 hours, which does sound long, and it's even longer when you actually are doing it. So creating something for your students that will keep them excited about coming to school, having engagement, whether that's a community drive or a charity event or 5K or something that brings community among students. Because sometimes what can happen in a beauty school, it's a lot of younger females or all different ages now. Women sometimes can maybe get into it a little bit. So if you create these events where there's fun and excitement and camaraderie, that can eliminate some of the fighting that happens in school. So don't be surprised if you do see some drama in your school that has nothing to do with you personally, but maybe some students are getting into it, or it just helps to create a really good school culture to create that community. So those are some of the things that I want you to work on now that you've got your school, is developing your A-game team, okay, trying to get you to that championship. Also creating your systems and policies and procedures so that way you can step back just a little bit. I can help you with those things. I already have plenty of templates and formats that I can send you. Also, you want to make sure you're creating community early on, so maybe even hire somebody or promote somebody within your organization, maybe an instructor, somebody that the students really like, that they can gather the students, rally them together to create positivity within your school. Because that, when there's negative students, woof, that can mess up everything. It's just kind of like a wolf pack mentality. So one girl is the leader of the group and she kind of can just infiltrate certain people's minds. But if they are occupied and engaged, you can eliminate a lot of that headache by creating that community and a sense of involvement within your school. So those are my tips. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me on aspirewithamy.com. Again, I have my 6-week mentorship program where I can help you to get started from not owning a school to getting approved and having your school up and running. Or if you just have questions and you want to do like a one-on-one coaching call, I am definitely there for you. And you feel free to send me a message on Instagram as well at 3D Lash and Brow.